Hello everyone. This week's video is all about what we are capable of doing that we just don't think we can do and how important it is to challenge that. So a couple of about 3-4 weeks ago, my middle son was due to go back to university, and he wasn't very well. He was due to go back on the train, and because for various reasons we couldn't drive him back, and my husband always does all the driving back to uni. He's at Leeds and we're down in the south, and so it's quite a long drive, and I don't do motorway driving. It really makes me nervous. I will do it if I absolutely have to, then I'll do it, but if I can think of any way to get out of it, I will, and I won't do it. So my husband, who usually does the motorway driving, was doing a pantomime, and my son comes down from school from his bedroom that morning looking very unwell, and he was due to get the train back, as I said, and I took one look at him and I said, there's no way that you're getting the train back to uni the state you are. He had a very high temperature, he had lots of bags to carry, he had multiple changes to get back to Leeds. And so this tale that I'm telling is from two angles. It's from my angle and it's from Ollie's angle, my son's angle. Oliver had 2 exams the following week. One was a couple of days after we were due to get him back to Leeds, and he was absolutely adamant that he was going to catch the train back, even though he had this sky-high temperature, because he needed to be back to sit his exams, and it was that important to him that he needed to do that, which I found really admirable, actually, that he was that determined to meet his deadlines and that committed to his course. Even though he probably wouldn't do a very good job of the exams, he was still determined that he was going to go back and deal with them, no matter how he was feeling, and he could have used that as an excuse, but he didn't. So there he is, looking awful, very high temperature. My husband can't drive him back to Leeds that morning because he had one of his pantomime performances to do that afternoon. I don't do motorway driving, but it is a 6-hour drive back to Leeds via the motorway. Guess what I did? I got in the car with him, we loaded the car up, and I drove the whole 6 hours to Leeds, and I amazed myself at what I was capable of doing. This is linked to dieting, because the reason that Ollie was so determined to get back to uni and sit those exams even though he was feeling awful, and the reason that I was so determined to overcome that fear of motorway driving and drive him up there and then back again, obviously 11-hour round trip, woohoo, was because there was a thing that was much more important to me than my fear of motorway driving. There was something much more important to him than feeling awful and ill when he was travelling back via the train. And for Ollie, that was that he didn't want to be kicked out of uni for not sitting the exams. Of course, that probably wouldn't have happened. He would have just had to resit them, but even that, he didn't want to resit them. He wanted to take them and get it over and done with. And for me, it was, I guess, mother's love. I'll do anything for my children. They mean absolutely everything to me. And there was absolutely no way on earth that I was going to put him on a train and wave him off when he was really unwell. And so what became the priority for me was not the fear of motorway driving, but it was getting my son safely back to university, even though I had to overcome a huge fear of driving on the motorway. And it's exactly the same with when we're trying to lose weight and when we're struggling a little bit with weight loss or dieting, or even in maintenance here. It's because our focus has shifted from one thing that's important to us to another thing that's important to us. So I could have focused in on the fear of motorway driving, and that could have dominated my decision processes, and I could have waved him off at the station and felt an absolutely awful mother, of course. But I didn't do that, because what was much more important to me in the moment was making sure that my son got safely up to Leeds without collapsing a little heap because he was so unwell. And also probably a bit of, my role as being my identity rather of being a good mum was that was the right thing to do, and I stuck by what was right by me. So if you're struggling a little bit with your diet or with your maintenance plan, it's probably worth having a little closer look at what it is that's motivating you one way or the other, either to eat off plan. What is it that you are getting out of that? What is it that's becoming more important to you when you are eating off of either your weight loss plan or your maintenance plan, that you're giving more priority to that than getting yourself healthier and slimmer and happier, if that is one of your goals in weight loss, if you're unhappy at the moment? What is it that you're giving more priority to and more power to? And how can you switch that so that you refocus back onto the thing? How can you make more powerful the losing weight stroke maintaining? Hope that helps.